Well, guess what, people? We need the government and the Supreme Court and the governors of the states, our Congress, the Senate, and like I said, the Supreme Court. They need to cease and desist from the path that they are following, and they have been following for quite some time. The Constitution of the United States, it's the only keepers, people, are the people. George Washington said that. Just read what it says. Let that sink into your head. I was looking at something like here. Everybody thinks, well, you know, the Supreme Court people can't be touched and so on and so forth. But they're only there if they are there in good behavior. If they are not following the Constitution, their behavior is unjust. What they're doing is over here. I want you to see this. It's treason to undermine the Constitution of the United States. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses. Now, before, I'm trying to think, it was in section 6, wasn't it? It was Article 1, Section 6. I gotta find that again. Yeah. Oh yeah, right there. I'm sorry. I kind of goofed things up. Yeah, section 6. Okay. The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for the services to be asserted by law and paid out by the Treasury of the United States. They shall in all cases, except treason and felony and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of the respective houses. In other words, when Pelosi, Schumer, Feinstein, Boxer, Corker, all those people are up there trying to undermine the Constitution of the United States, they can be arrested for treason. Period. Now let's get to something else here. Now that I got your attention, I really don't have this all set up, do I? Well, Fuzzy's getting old, tired, burned out, something like that. Probably all of the above. Now, this is from a lady who knows the Constitution a heck of a lot better than I ever will. Our Constitution is so simple that Alexander Hamilton expected us to be enlightened enough to distinguish between a legal exercise and an illegal usurp of authority. He said the people are the natural guardians of the Constitution. Well, one of the problems we have up there is the Supreme Court trying to push their will onto the other people of the United States. They are in effect undermining the Constitution of the United States because they're not following the original intent that the Constitution that was written. I told you before, they have to go by the common law of that time and the British institutions of that time when this thing was written. Now they have to go by the Declaration of Independence. They have to go by the Federalist Papers. That's where the original intent of the Constitution is. Okay, we're expected to know this Constitution and enforce it. It's possible to assert that the representatives we sent to Washington and even the Supreme Court are incapable of understanding it. Justices on the Supreme Court have been perverting the Constitution for a long time. They do this because they are so stupid they don't understand our Constitution. Well, of course not. They violate the Constitution because they claim the right to impose their own personal views on the rest of us. Every American over age 10 should know the powers of our federal Constitution delegates to the Congress and the Presidents are limited and defined because they are enumerated. So the progressives of the Supreme Court had to find a way around the limitations imposed on the enumerated powers, and they did it by perverting 3 clauses: the Interstate Commerce Clause, the General Welfare, and Necessary and Proper Clause. If you look at the Federalist Papers, it shows the original intent of these clauses. You don't need a convention to draft amendments showing what these clauses mean. Just look it up. Interstate Commerce Clause. You can't do this, people. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3. Webster's 1828 dictionary says commerce is the buying and selling of goods. Federalist number 22, 4th paragraph. And Federalist 42, 9th and 10th, Hamilton and Madison explained the primary purpose of the clause was to prohibit the states from imposing taxes and tolls on merchandise as it was transported through the states for the purpose of buying and selling. General Welfare Clause, 1828, dictionary, Webster's. That means exemption from any unusual evil or calamity, the enjoyment of peace and prosperity, or the ordinary blessings of society and civil government applies to the states. It has nothing to do with handouts, public relief, or the federal government doing whatever they think is a good idea. Federalist Paper number 41. Madison points out that Article 1, Section 8 employs general terms which are immediately followed by the enumeration of particular powers, which explains and qualifies by recital of particulars. The general phrase is it's an error to focus on general expressions and disregard the specifications which discern to limit their import, and to argue that the general expressions provided an unlimited power is crazy. The powers of the Congress of the country at large are rarely limited primary to those listed in Article 1, Section 8, Clauses 3 through 16. Our framers understood the general welfare was the enjoyment of peace and prosperity, the enjoyment of ordinary blessings of society and civil government, and it was possible only if the federal government stayed to their strict, limited powers. Necessary and Proper Clause. The clause delegates to Congress power to pass all laws necessary and proper to execute in its declared powers, the enumerated. The Constitution operation of the intended government would be precisely this. If this clause were admitted or obliterated, then, that's why they didn't have to repeat this in every doggone power. It's a power to do something that must be a power to pass all laws necessary and proper for the execution of that power. And this clause is perfectly harmless. So the clause permits the execution of powers already delegated and enumerated in the Constitution. No additional substantial powers were granted by this clause. So they've been lying to us for a long time, just getting by with whatever they had to. I'm going to go to something else here, people, if I can remember where in the heck I put it. We're going to go to this thing called treason. I pointed that out, I said that they can be arrested for treason. They may think that they can't be, but they can be arrested for treason. And undermining the Constitution of the United States is a war against the people of the United States. I've got to be getting close to it pretty soon. Bear with me, people. This is important enough to get in the video so that you understand what is what. Right here. 18 United States Code 2381 treason. The text contains these laws in effect on January 11th, 2020. Treason, sedition, and subversive activities. I'll back us up just a hair. I'll put a link to this and you guys can go read this yourself. I'll read as much of this as I can. Treason means whoever owning allegiance to the United States. That means that they took this oath. Owing allegiance to the United States and levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death. I'll zoom this in. Guilty of treason and shall suffer death or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title, but not less than $10,000, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Now, undermining the Constitution when these people have sworn to uphold and defend it is treason. Like I said, whoever owns allegiance to the United States, levies war against them, or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death, or shall be imprisoned for not less than 5 years and fined under this title, but not less than $10,000, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. That's treason. These people they're treacherous. They have betrayed our trust. They also betrayed their allegiance to the United States. They are completely disloyal. And you can't get it any plainer than that. So, Pelosi, Feinstein, all you nitwits up there in Congress and the Senate and the Supreme Court, cease and desist. Get rid of all the unconstitutional firearm laws. Get rid of the Public Law 87-297 that allows the United Nations to disarm us and take away our firearms. Thanks for watching, people. Stay on your toes. Don't let these people try to say that the Supreme Court of the land is the last ditch. They're going to tell you what's good about the Constitution. They don't understand it. They're perverting the damn Constitution, and it's time to end it. Only you people are the keepers of the Constitution. Start flexing your muscles. Put these tyrants in their place. Thanks for watching. I'll put as much of this information as I can in the description box. You people go check it out yourself. Make your own decisions, and thanks for watching.